was a great guy. Every time I saw him, he had a smile on his face.
Mr. Knowles was one of the kindest people I have had the opportunity to meet.
I knew Chuck pretty well. I knew him for the last 10 years, Mr. Knowles, and he's a good guy. He's good to work for. Certainly he hired me as the girls soccer coach here. Now I'm the boys soccer coach, so I'm appreciative of that. But he's a good man. It was good to have him here, for sure.
My favorite memory of Mr. Knowles is my sophomore year when our seniors, Bev and all of them, couldn't play at our home game, so Mr. Knowles bought them some dirt, and it was really funny. And we all had a big laugh and still played our senior game.
One of the first experiences I can remember is when he called me into his office to interview me for the assistant cross-country position. And he made me just feel comfortable. He talked to me as if I was a human being.
My best memory of Mr. Knowles is when I had a football game and he told me that don't put my head down, keep working at what I'm doing.
I met Chuck 10 years ago when he first came. He was a chemistry teacher and I was a biology teacher, and he was a great guy, and I really enjoyed my 2 years working closely with him. And I remained friends with him as he was an athletic director.
Mr. Knowles meant a lot to me. He gave me my first head coaching job, doing something I love, coaching the tennis team here.
I had the pleasure of knowing Mr. Knowles since I was about 14 years old at Conway Catholic High School, and it's been a pleasure to know him as a person, as a colleague, and as a friend.
I think Mr. Knowles was a really great man. He was always smiling and always wanted to know about you, and really personable, and that was really nice to see in someone of a high position.
Mr. Knowles would always talk to the whole cheerleading team before every basketball game. He was so nice to all of us, you know. Whenever there was a problem with anything, he handled it, got everything done, and I know everybody is really taking this loss pretty hard, and everybody's really going to miss Mr. Knowles.
You know, when I think of Chuck, I go back to when I was taking classes with him for a master's program. And one of the things that was always really nice about Chuck is whenever you'd have a problem or whenever you need any advice, he always had such a wealth of experience.
He really was just really proud of his family and of his background, and he shared that knowledge with me. And I will always remember him as in that moment, and just really loving his family and being proud of the work that he's done in the community and in his life.
My favorite memory of Chuck Knowles is, I guess it was 2009. We had just beaten Upper Moreland for the league championship in football, and he came up to me and congratulated me, and you know, we really had a good time, and it was a positive time for both of us.
My memories with him sitting in the athletic training room, and he would never fail to ask about my kids, and always wanted to know how they were doing, where they were. And we had good conversations and talked about a lot of family things. You know, his family, my family, all the athletic department family.
We always talk, and outside of athletics, just really cared about, you know, you, your family, how everyone was doing. So that's what I'm gonna really miss about Mr. Knowles. He's a really good guy, truly gonna be missed.
Mr. Knowles always made an effort to come see everybody before their games.
Last year when I was in the hospital, Mr. Knowles actually called my mom while we were in the emergency room, and then he would call every day while I was in the hospital just to check up on me and see how I was doing. So it really meant a lot, and we're really going to miss him.
Mr. Knowles was a great athletic director. As the head cross-country coach here, he was always very supportive of our team, and he was there for us no matter what.
Actually, I'd say my best memories of Chuck, Mr. Knowles, excuse me, aren't actually sports related per se here at the high school, but just talking about the Phillies. He loved talking about the Phillies. He was a season ticket holder. He loved going to the games. I know he went to I think it was the only day of school he missed a year was when he went to the opening day Phillies games, which was pretty cool. But we could talk hours about the Phillies. I know that wasn't exactly what we were supposed to maybe discuss from an athletic director coach perspective, but we could certainly chat about that all day, and I'll miss that.
Mr. Knowles made a really conscious effort to come around to all the athletes, every sport they played, to make sure they felt important and ask how we were doing.
He was always just a very kind person, and he always had a nice word to say to everyone about everyone.
He wouldn't lord his knowledge over anybody. With him, it always seemed like he enjoyed these opportunities, not so much to share his knowledge so much as it was to talk to people and get to know them. And I think that really carried over into the way he performed his job as an athletic director. I saw so many times when I would be over there, you know, talking to Chuck in the office, a student would come in with a problem, and he would always take the time to talk to the student, get to know him,
My favorite memories would definitely be him at all my field hockey games and lacrosse games and every one of my brother's wrestling matches. He would always stop by and ask how we were doing, and he just genuinely cared about the athletes.
Remembering Mr. Knowles, there's so many things over so many years. I have to say that we laugh a little bit, almost like a Seinfeld episode. And Mr. Knowles used to be a little bit of a close talker in his early days, and we used to laugh about that all the time.
And my fondest recollection of him is him running up and down the court trying to keep up with people 1/4 his age on open court basketball on Spirit Day.
He also would come out to our SOL championships every year, which was really special.
Every time he saw me in the hallway, he always came up to me, gave me a handshake or a hug or something. He was just a great guy all around, and everybody loved him.
Chuck Knowles was an incredible person, a great role model, and one thing that everyone knows about Chuck is that he always put the needs of others in front of his own.
I was acting swim coach under Mr. Knowles for 3 seasons, and he was a great man. He was always very supportive of me and of the team. He was always checking in. I know swimming definitely wasn't his background, and he never ever made us feel like we were anything but his most important team.
The thing I miss about Mr. Knowles is he was just he had a great heart. Just a very nice guy.
I think to myself, whenever I talk to someone else and whenever I interact with them, how kind of would Chuck do it? Like, what is it about the way I'm interacting with someone? Like, how would Chuck do it? Chuck genuinely got to know people.
I remember Mr. Knowles the last time after our first scrimmage this season against the Chamonix, we stopped by his house, and then we all pretty much just gave him some words of his inspiration to just keep fighting. So
Chuck Knowles, I viewed him as a friend. I've gotten to know him over the last 7 or 8 years.
Hi, my favorite memory of Mr. Knowles would be the time we spent standing by these different sports fields, whether it be soccer or softball, and just watching the sports events and reminiscence about football people that we had in common.
Even when we would travel, he came to see us in Bensalem or any local schools, as well as supporting us here at Norristown, so he'll definitely be missed by us.
And I was Chuck's secretary for the last 8 years here at Norristown Athletic Office, and he was a fine man to work for, and he will be very missed by all of us in the athletic office.
He's just a good inspiration in my life. He'll be missed.
He was a truly great man, and I'm going to miss him.
He was an asset to our district and a very good man.
How do I pay tribute to a man who has been a part of the fabric of Norristown Area High School and the school district? I simply say you'll be missed.
And I will deeply miss him.
You're going to be missed, Mr. Knowles.
He was a good man with a good heart, and just always showed how much he cared for me and for all of the athletes on my team.
And I'm going to miss him.
He was a good man. He was genuinely interested in all the kids here at Norristown Area High School, and I know this was his last stop, but I think this was his favorite stop.
I'm going to miss you, Chuck. God bless you.
Chuck was a very game man, and he was a gentleman, and I'm going to miss him deeply.
Mr. Knowles, everybody knew that he was a good guy. Always had a smile on his face, always kept me smiling.
He was always a great person to talk to whenever you had a question, whether it was about athletics, it was about education, or just a personal life question. He's always a great resource to go to. He'll be sorely missed, and may he rest in peace.
As an athlete at Norristown High School, I'm definitely going to miss Mr. Knowles. He was truly the heart and soul of Norristown athletics.
He will be missed. He was a really good guy.
We'll miss you, Chuck.
So to his wife, Sandy, and his family, he will truly be missed by all of us. Thank you very much.